also noticed more lines of customers and began to wonder once again what was going on. They decided, the fast-paced cobblers, hey, fast-paced cobblers, fast-paced cobblers decided that that night they were going to spy on the older cobblers and find out who was making all these shoes. They decided to hide in the bushes. Well, that very same night, the older cobblers decided that they wanted to know who was making the shoes for them. So they decided to find a hiding place in their house, under the table, and spy on their own. And that night, when the sun went down, sure enough, the elves came. And as they began making shoes, the fast-paced cobblers were looking in the window. Stand up a little bit so we can see. And they got big wide eyes when they saw the elves. And they rubbed their eyes. And they scratched their heads. And they looked at each other. They looked at each other. And they looked back in the window. And they looked at the elves and they went, "Ah!" And they ran so fast that they ran all the way back, all the way to the next town. Well, the older cobblers who were hiding under the table were not so scared, for they knew that these were very kind elves, and they knew that these elves were helping them. So the first rays of light came through the window that morning, and the elves scattered. And the cobbler and his wife, the cobblers, both cobblers, co-cobblers came down the stairs, and yawning to themselves, and Mrs. Cobbler said,
"What a beautiful morning it is today."
And they went to work that day and had a great business that day until the evening hours. And Mrs. Cobbler had a thought that night. She said,
"How about we make some clothes for the elves since they've been making shoes for us?" Yeah, because they have corn on us.
So the cobblers began to work on making tiny little jackets, and tiny little pants, and tiny little socks, and tiny little hats for the elves. And instead of lying out their shoemaking materials that night, they lied out each and every one of the clothes. And they went to bed. And that, not yet guys, remember the elf music hasn't come yet. And that night, sure enough, the elves came. And this night, the elves looked on the table, and instead of seeing the materials to make shoes, they found the tiny clothes. And they held them up, and looked at them, and tried them on, and they fit just right. So the elves had a giant elf party, dancing and singing. And the cobblers heard all the noise and came downstairs and saw the elf party and joined in the festivities. Well, the elves danced late into the night until the first light of morning came through the window, and all the elves scattered until there was no elves left. No elves left. Just the cobbler and his wife. And they smiled to themselves. And everyone lived happily ever after because the cobblers continued to make clothes and leave gifts for the little elves. And the elves continued to make shoes. And as for the fast-paced cobblers across the street, they had been so scared by the elves that they moved across town and started a fast-paced cobbler business across town, never to compete with the old cobblers again. And everyone lived happily ever after. And that is the end of the cobblers.